Dear students, let's continue chapter 4, Breathing for Energy. So in last class we discussed about the structure of human respiratory system, and we know that the trachea divides into bronchus, then bronchus again divides into branches called bronchioles, and at the tip of this bronchioles you can see alveoli. So this alveoli are the air sacs through which the exchange of gases takes place. So which are those gases? We know that we take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. So the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place in this alveoli. So first, today we shall discuss about how the exchange of gases takes place in alveoli. So first I will draw the structure of alveoli. See, this is the structure of alveoli, and we know that the alveoli is covered with numerous number of blood capillaries for the exchange of gases. So here a blood capillary is shown, and also while looking onto the structure you can see that the wall of alveoli is made up of a single layer of cells. So here there is only a single layer of cells. And also you can see the walls of blood capillary is also made up of a single layer of cell. So there is only a small thickness in between them. You know that inside this alveoli there will be the oxygen, and here through the blood capillary the blood is flowing. So there is only a small gap between the gases and the blood, so that it is very easy to diffuse the respiratory gases between the alveoli and the blood capillary. And the main function of alveoli is to increase the respiratory surface area. So the main function of alveoli is to increase the respiratory surface area of lungs. So now we shall study how the exchange of gases takes place between the alveoli and blood capillary. So first we know that we inspire or we take in oxygen, so that the oxygen enters through the nostrils and it reaches the bronchi, then bronchioles, and it finally reaches the alveoli. So the oxygen enters into alveoli, then it passes through the alveoli, then it slowly enters into the blood. So how it enters into blood? We know that while taking in oxygen, the quantity or the amount of oxygen will be higher inside the alveoli than the quantity of oxygen in the blood capillary, which means when we inspire in or when we take in oxygen, the amount of oxygen will be higher in the alveoli while comparing with the amount of oxygen in the blood capillary. So while inspiring, the oxygen will be higher in the alveoli and the quantity of oxygen will be less in the blood capillary or in the blood. So the higher concentration of oxygen is now inside the alveoli, and inside the blood it is only less concentration of oxygen. So we know that in diffusion the oxygen molecules always shows the tendency to move from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. So that from where to where the oxygen move by diffusion process? Yes, from alveoli into the blood. So the oxygen molecules moves from alveoli into the blood. And then how the exchange of carbon dioxide takes place? We know that after cellular activities, the carbon dioxide re-enters into blood. So the concentration of carbon dioxide will be higher inside the blood than inside the alveoli. So here in the blood capillary, the concentration of carbon dioxide will be higher, and in alveoli, the concentration of carbon dioxide will be lower. And we know that in diffusion, the molecules will be showing the tendency to move from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. So from where to where the carbon dioxide molecules move? Yes, from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. So that the carbon dioxide molecules enters into the alveoli and then it passes out, so that we expel out carbon dioxide. So this is how the exchange of gases takes place between the alveoli and the blood. Children, we already studied about the components of blood. Which are the components of blood? Yes, it consists of plasma and blood cells. And we know that the plasma helps in carrying the nutrients. Then the blood cells. What is the role of blood cells? The red blood cells helps in carrying the respiratory gases. That is, the hemoglobin which is present in the red blood cells helps to carry the oxygen and carbon dioxide. Now look at this diagram. This is a slide which is prepared of blood. And here you can see there is numerous number of red blood cells. And what about the white blood cells? It is only less in number. So red blood cells are numerous in number and it is in the shape of disc. The red blood cells are in disc shape and it is about 45 to 60 lakh. 45 to 60 lakh of red blood cells are present inside per milliliter of blood, and the red blood cells do not have any nucleus or any other cell organelles, and it is full of hemoglobin, and this hemoglobin helps to carry oxygen and carbon dioxide, which are the respiratory gases. Now look at this diagram. This is the structure of hemoglobin. Here you can see a single hemoglobin consists of 4 strands of protein, and each strand consists of an iron containing heme. So here you can see the heme which consists of iron. So the oxygen combines with the iron of the heme, so that each hemoglobin can carry 4 molecules of oxygen. That is because each hemoglobin structure consists of 4 protein strands, and each protein strands consist of 4 iron containing heme, so that the oxygen can combine with each iron, and so that a single hemoglobin can carry 4 molecules of oxygen. Children, we know that it is dangerous when we got trapped inside a smoke-filled room. Do you know what is the reason for that? Have you heard about some news reports that some of the people lead to death because they got trapped inside a smoke-filled room? The reason is that the hemoglobin, we know that hemoglobin helps in carrying oxygen and carbon dioxide. But the hemoglobin have more affinity towards the carbon monoxide than towards the oxygen. So if the hemoglobin combines with carbon monoxide, it forms carboxyhemoglobin. And in the case with oxygen, it forms, when the hemoglobin combines with oxygen, a breakdown takes place. But in case of the formation of carboxyhemoglobin, a breakdown does not take place and it leads to a dangerous situation. So children, we understood that hemoglobin helps to carry the oxygen molecules, and we know that iron is the main component of the hemoglobin, and this iron combines with oxygen for carrying it, isn't it? So iron is very important. So for getting enough quantity of iron, we need to include iron-rich food items like leafy vegetables in our diet for getting enough quantity of iron. So it is very important to include iron-rich food items in our diet. And a healthy man, the average amount of hemoglobin of a healthy man is about 15 gram per 100 ml of blood. And a healthy woman will be having 13 gram per 100 ml of blood. So a healthy man, the quantity of hemoglobin of a healthy man will be about 15 gram per 100 ml of blood, and a healthy woman will be having 13 gram per 100 ml of hemoglobin. If the amount of hemoglobin is very less in our blood, it leads to anemia or anemic conditions, and we know that what are the problems associated with anemia. And this is the reason why the iron tablets are providing in schools and all. So we should include the food items such as leafy vegetables, which is rich in iron, in our diet. And if we have any deficiency, with the prescription from the doctor, we need to consume iron tablets.
Now we can see how the oxygen diffuses into cells. Here you can see the oxygen molecules in the alveoli. The hemoglobin in red blood cell carry oxygen molecules and form oxyhemoglobin. This oxyhemoglobin reaches the tissues and release oxygen into tissue fluid. From tissue fluid, the oxygen diffuses into cells. This is how oxygen diffusion in cells occur. So we should consume food items like leafy vegetables with iron content. If the amount of hemoglobin decreases in blood, it leads to a condition called anemia.